Good evening, everyone. I hope you're able to see my screen. Is my screen visible, please?
Yes, ma'am. Welcome slide is visible.
Thank you so much. So I'll take a minute till everybody joins. So our topic for the day is equity versus equality. And I'm your master trainer. My name is Pushplatha Chaudhary. I think I will start now. And thank you for joining my session. I would like you all to please write in the chat from where all are you joining and whichever institution you're working for right now. I would really love to interact and know my audience. Sundari ma'am, thank you. Good evening. So, hey, Priya ma'am, good evening. Sorry, everyone. I think I exited the session somehow. So I'm back in the session now. And I have this picture, and please let's be mindful and be alert of everybody around us. Please keep your videos on, especially while you're interacting with each other. And as you have your microphones off, I don't want to say much on that. Please show active involvement and respect each other's ideas and participation. So before I move, let me move it to full screen. Right. So as we move forward, I hope I'm audible. Am I audible to all?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Ashna ma'am. Thank you. Okay, so as we move forward, I would just like to open the chat again. Thank you, Sushma ma'am, Zina ma'am, for participating in the chat. Okay, so here is a picture which I want you people to observe and to tell me what you see in these two pictures. And my chat is open for any kind, if you feel any kind of hesitation in joining in the chat while talking, I want you to just observe these two pictures and tell me just what is happening here.
Kids plucking the fruits.
Excellent, Sushma ma'am. What else? Amrit ma'am, Ekta ma'am, Gurveesh, Gurveer ma'am, Hardeep ma'am. I would like all of you to participate, please.
मैम एक स्टेयर पे जो बच्चा है दोनों मींस की उसको कर रहे हैं, प्लग कर रहे हैं। एक साइड पे सिर्फ एक बच्चा प्लग कर पा रहा है, दूसरा ट्राई कर रहा है।
बिल्कुल मैम, गुरवीर मैम, वेरी गुड. Anybody else? Harminder ma'am, would you like to say anything? Jaspal ma'am, Juhi ma'am, please give your views. It'll be nice to have your view. It's just a simple picture, and I would like you to view it like a little kid and see what you feel there is in the picture.
Ma'am, in the first picture, the
Yes.
two students of the kids are having equal opportunity. So one is not higher as the second. So it is not able to the first second one is not able to reach to the whatever is there, apple or whatever. But in the second picture, there is not equality, there is equity, means the opportunity which the second one needs. So this is the basic difference that I am observing right now.
Very nice, Navjot ma'am. That was a very good observation. Let's move forward and let's have a little more clarity about what we are saying. So, as we move on, we can see that both the pictures, what are they highlighting? They are highlighting that in the first picture, we have equal opportunities, like Navjot ma'am said, and they are being given support, and both are having equal opportunity of reaching the tree. Whereas in the second one, what is happening is the fruit remains unchanged, but what are we having? The distributed tools which we have given them, the ladders which we have given them are different, and which are giving more chances to the other child to reach the fruit. Am I right? Sapna ma'am, would you like to add something? Or could you please mute yourself? So here, resources are. So here we are. What are we doing? We are addressing the systemic inequalities. I would really be thankful. Thank you for muting yourself, please. Thank you. Okay, here is a video which I would like you people to see.
I have a bunch of band-aids. Who's hurt? I have a paper cut on my thumb, miss. Teacher, I grazed my elbow playing football. Fell off my bike and scraped my knee, miss. Why do we all get the band-aids in the same place? Equality.
So, do you also see that there is equality in what the teacher did here? Yes or a no? Simple yes, no answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Gurveer ma'am. Very nice. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
But do you really think that this is what they all needed?
No, ma'am, not at all.
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So when we really look at this from equality side, I think it is equal. Let's move forward and read more about what equality is for us. So here is the meaning of equality. And Archana ma'am, can you read the meaning of equality, please?
Just a minute. One second. Meaning of equality. The Equality and Human Rights Commission described equality as ensuring that every individual has an equal opportunity to make the most of their lives and talents. I hope
Okay,
I
so this is
wasn't
what.
very fast.
No, ma'am, it's okay. It's all right. Very nice. Thank you, ma'am. So here equality means that when each child gets an equal opportunity to make their lives and utilize their talents, There's another equality which we, something when we say what equality is, to the word the quality for all of us is at a state of having equal in case of quantity, degree, value, rank, or ability. When we have equal in case of all these things, we say that we all of us are, exercising equality. Am I right or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So when we see equality in these things, when we say yes, we are getting equal treatment, right? So now what do we say, like Navjot ma'am said, about the ladder being given in the second picture? So I would love to have your videos on so that we can all converse with each other and have an interaction. So here we are talking about equity, like Navjot ma'am said, that equity is about giving people what they need in order to make things fair. And as you can see, observe in this picture that the person who needs the most gets the most, and things look fair from this angle, that their achievements or what they're achieving in life is equal. So as we move forward, we will read more into it and understand it a little better. So when we talk about equity and versus equality, that is what our topic of the day is. And equity and equality are terms which we actually use interchangeably. And for a long time, even I think I have been using them interchangeably, thinking that both the things mean the same thing. But they have distinct meanings. And especially when we talk about these things in terms of social justice, economics, and education. So let me tell you that today, when we talk about education, it really depends on how two children are, going, how their life is going to be little later on. About it depends totally on how rich their parents are right now, how good a telephone, how good a mobile phone they own, what kind of a lifestyle they're running, how rich their parents are, what kind of a social status they have. All these things, all these challenges are what define, our society today. And all the inequality which you see in our society in terms of social, economic, and education level are widening day by day. And the modern student and modern people, modern individual faces a lot of inequalities throughout their lives. And even though we as people, or we as educators, we as country, we as politician, we as policymakers are trying to give equal opportunity to people, but is that the real thing that we need? Is that really what we require to become successful in life? Okay, so this is what we really need to talk about. This is what we really need to talk about in the slide today, in our session today. So what we're trying to reach here is, are we really trying to give equality to the disadvantaged? I hope the topic is clear to all of you. Let's move a little forward and discuss what it is. Okay, why are we talking about equality? So when we talk about equality, as you see the picture here, equality means that treating everyone the same, giving everyone the equal chances, and giving them the same resources, opportunity, or treatment, regardless of what they need or whatever circumstances there are. So this is a very beautiful, picture which depicts equality of resources and how it is given to three people. Here in the picture, you can see that there are three different individuals whose needs are different. And in terms of equality, they've been given equal boxes to reach out and see the baseball game which they are watching. So the first person, who's very tall, does not actually require that box. And the person who's handicapped does not have any use of that box. And there's this little girl who has the box but is not able to reach this. So what equality here means, that actually in the sense of giving the resource, that is the box, it is equal. It has been given in uniformity to all three. And but is it providing the benefit and equality of support which actually is required here? I will talk to you about this because I have a lot of questions where you people are going to talk and answer and then converse with me. All right. So let me move forward and also talk about that if this is equality, why do we need equity? Do you think equality is a good thing if you look at this picture here? Does equality look good here?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Does it? No, it doesn't. If I was a person on the chair, this equality would have been no use for me. Is that right?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So it's the picture is a think picture where you need to see where we stand. So if this is equality, why do we need equity? So what is equity? Look here. So now what is equity? It must be very clear from this picture. Equity means fairness, giving resources to the person who actually requires them. So if you see that the girl needs two boxes, so the one box from the person has been taken and given to the little girl. Now she is able to see the picture. She's able to see the game very clearly. And the person who's handicapped has been provided with a ramp in which she could climb up and could see the game. So this is fairness of resources. This is where you are bringing your children to an equal level to where they can watch the game. So, but in our education system, we move a little step forward and make sure that this barrier is removed so that all of them are able to view the game from the position or the place they are sitting. Okay. So the use of equity is that it is totally focused on being fair and just and recognizing different people and the different need and the support which they need to reach the outcome which you want from them. All right. So looking at equity and equality now, I have been looking at this topic with very new eyes. And when we have a fight in our house, when we are siblings, every day we are fighting. When we were young, we were. Do you agree with me, any of you, that when we were small, we used to keep fighting, with our siblings and telling our parents, no, you've given a bigger share to that person and smaller share to us. That we were very small and everything. What meant to us was that they were fair when they were equal. Am I right or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So very very interestingly, I was reading I was listening to a podcast yesterday or something, like it was a reel or something, so where they said that there were parents, and what they did was when they were about very old, so the time came to distribute their land to their children. So what they did, rather than exercising equality, so what they did was uh, they gave more land, they gave less land to the child who was very successful in his life, and a child who was very averagely doing, he could barely make his end meet, was given the biggest part of their property, and the one who was moderately well was given, a mediocre level of his their property. So do you think this was a good thing done by the parents or not? Just
Yes, ma'am.
yesterday
He has done equity with everyone.
we could. But do you think that if you were at the receiving end of this equity, would you understand this equity? Would you understand the point of view of your parents?
If they understood the concept of equity and equality, at that point they will be able to understand. But as a human being nature, if I will say no, they will not agree on this point. Ki one is getting more and one is getting less.
Because they feel that they're,
They are loving him
them
more.
more. Yes, they think that everybody has, equal right to
Equal
whatever they
share
want.
should be there.
Yeah. So when you watch this, you will see that this from a very different perspective and a different point of view when you actually understand equity. So same is the case with our, people getting a lot of equality in their workplaces and everything. So is it really what they require is what my question is, and we will be talking about it later in the slides. And I hope equity and equality is a little more clear to all of you. Let's move to the next one. So here is another picture, and I would like you all to, see this and tell me, let's understand this better by this. What do you see in this picture? The first one. So let me tell you, it is a roadside, it's in a pavement, and probably it's a place where the people have to, move from the pavement and across the road. So do you think it is a good idea for everyone to have such a pavement in a locality or in our community anywhere? Is this addressing everybody's needs?
No, ma'am, it's not good because the old person and the person on wheelchair um, doesn't get opportunity to go easily.
Gurveer ma'am, do you think there are lots of places in and around us where we actually are, we all are living like this, we don't
Yes, ma'am.
understand the needs of people who actually need
Yes,
it.
ma'am. There are many places where we give them the equality, but not equity. We don't understand that some people have problems, like they have a wheelchair. Maybe he or she be on a wheelchair, or old person.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Gurveer ma'am. When we are capable, when we are fit, we always think that the whole world is fit and that everybody would be able to access what we are able to access. And it is fair enough that what we ever getting. But when you look at this picture from a different angle, you would understand and how much the second picture. Leena, ma'am, would you like to add something here? What all differences do you can see in the second picture? Amrit ma'am, Anita ma'am, anyone? Anshu ma'am, if you could just unmute yourself and tell me what differences do you observe in the second one? What
The
kind
second
of,
one,
yes, ma'am, sure. Please go ahead.
there is a slope given
In
for the
second picture, ma'am, all are
I will give all of you a chance. Prerna ma'am, yes, you can go continue.
Yes, ma'am. In the second pic, we can see it is means everyone can go there safely. The audio options are also there, where stop or you can go like that. Maybe options
So
will be.
that is aiding which person here?
The one with the stick is there.
Okay, the
You
blind
cannot
person.
see.
So
Yeah,
Shima
the
ma'am,
blind
what ease of this thing can you observe?
that a person on the wheelchair is also able to slide from it easily, and
Absolutely.
it is easy for everyone. The person with walking with their legs also. For the
There is a
old person,
ramp.
it is also easy to slide over from it. It will
Excellent,
be
ma'am.
easier for
and
them.
then the visual is there. The
Yes,
hands
Anita
for the
ma'am.
stopping. Visual is
Yeah,
also there.
the
So for the
visual is
small
also
children and the young one, they can just see look at that and they can cross the road.
excellent. The child who does not understand sound, the sound and things, he can just see the red part, or anybody else who's not able to understand anything else or hear can see the signals and move on. Do you think that is a better equitable society? Equitable way of is better, more sustainable for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
definitely.
So you think this is a society where everybody is being cared for? If you are part
Yeah,
of this, would you feel more cared of? See, even in the first one, that this young man is not even bothered about turning back and thinking that whether these people will be able to cross or not, right? But in the second one, we have even in your lives, whenever somebody asks for help, it is better that you make them capable of doing things themselves rather than helping them again and again, right? Is that a better option?
Yes,
exactly,
ma'am.
ma'am.
तो आप लोगों को काबिल बनाइए कि वो खुद अपना काम कर पाएं और and they will feel more empowered by that. I hope
Yeah.
this makes equity and equality clearer. Thank you for your participation. That was wonderful. Okay, so let's introspect. There's another example. I would like you to tell me more about it. See, here is an example of a transportation system. So through this also you can understand the concept of equity and equality better. So there's a city's public transportation system, and there's a system change. It involves, okay, every place, what will happen? The number of buses to every route and every neighborhood, regardless of what the kind of population density there is, all the buses will be equally, sent to these neighborhoods. Do you think it is a fair approach like that? Do you think it is good to send, uh, buses everywhere uh, in equal number?
I don't think so,
No,
ma'am.
uh,
It
it is
should be
not
provided
that practical,
according.
ma'am. It is not that practical, ma'am.
Okay, let's have it one by one. Let's get somebody else a chance. Leena ma'am, would you like to say something? I want Baljeet ma'am also to please add and give something, give their inputs. Baljeet ma'am, Binita ma'am, Daljit ma'am, Ekta ma'am, I would like you also to participate. Do you think it's a good idea to give every neighborhood the same number of buses?
No, ma'am, absolutely not. Because
Yes,
it
Vineet.
depends on their locality and their areas also, and the number of population also. Their population depends also the requirement, their needs, and it depends only not equal amount or equal quantity of buses will be available. It depends. It differs for everyone according to their needs and availability of resources.
Yes, ma'am. Benita ma'am, thank you. That's a wonderful answer. Ekta ma'am or Hardeep ma'am, would you like to participate? I would like to ask you a question. Have you ever observed any kind of a difference like this around you, surrounding you, or have you experienced it firsthand yourself, where you thought, "Oh, why am I not getting a bus to go somewhere?" And there are so many buses to the other routes. Does it happen to any of you? Sushma ma'am, would you like to add anything? Has it ever happened to any of you? Okay, no. But I see it. I have an example here very nearby
Excuse
in my
me, ma'am.
house.
Can I add something?
Yes,
Sorry,
ma'am,
I
sure.
joined a little late.
No problem,
I'm
Sridevi ma'am. Please, please. I would love to have you to interact with us.
Okay, see, rather than, I don't know, it's my third,
Mm-hmm.
wherein rather than telling not having equal buses, I would
Mm-hmm.
like to tell have some percentage of buses more given period of time, means the time of the day. Like, for example,
Yeah,
if it's official hours or school hours, have more buses on that route.
very good.
Post
Very good,
that
Sridevi
time,
ma'am.
afterwards, we come to the normal routine. That would save the passengers panicness and time and all that stuff. So that's what I feel.
Very
I
nice.
have experienced this, so I'm just putting it across.
Yeah, it might be from your school, maybe you have to go home and you're not getting buses and there is not space in the buses, something like that. Because I have seen it very nearby to my house. Sometimes when I go to school, there is an ITI a place here where students are getting trained, and suddenly at 5 o'clock when it's time for people to go home, uh, uh, there's suddenly no buses for them because they have to go to very interior of villages and stuff. So they also find, they get on top of the buses and go, and it's really very sad that in times like today when our infrastructure is so good, they don't find buses to commute from there for the time they end of the day. And Sri Devi ma'am, just like you said, right now we could have the administration step in here and put more bus for that 5 o'clock time where they have when their thing is getting off, where the institution is getting off, and put them there. So I hope this is clear here. And if anybody likes to add anything here, you're most welcome. Leena ma'am, would you like to say something? Your mic is unmuted. So, okay, so we will move forward here. Okay, so here is the same thing. There is another example of equity. So you see that there are three different terrains and three different people, and each has been given the same kind of bike. So again, where we say that equality has been followed, each of them has been given the same kind of bike. The first bike is very small for the little kid, and it is not friendly for the terrain in which he has to move. The second person is fairly able to ride it well, and I think he gets the perfect bike. Whereas we see in the third case, uh, there is a handicapped person, and the terrain is a slope, and it is very difficult for the person to take their either the bike or their own wheelchair up that slope. So in this case, what should have really been done? Who would like to explain the second picture, please?
In the second picture, everyone gets the cycles according to their needs.
Yes, Sushma ma'am.
Wheelchair person gets the cycle according to cycle like a wheelchair. Second one, according to their needs, they get everything.
Yes,
In second picture.
I
yes,
think the wheelchair is also electrified, means it is like EV type of wheelchair, so
yeah.
she is able to move it easily.
Yes, so even a person who's looking at it might not understand the kind of challenge this handicapped person is following here, is facing here. वो तो बोलेंगे नहीं देखो हमने wheelchair तो दे दी है, but you don't understand that taking the wheelchair on a slope for the person is very difficult. So very nice, ma'am, Sushma ma'am, for understanding what the problem is. So I think we all need to be very empathetic in the society and look at what our children and what people around us are actually, facing and actually requiring. And that also goes for some very elderly people in our society who are actually walking most of the time next to us, but we don't see the disability which they are facing, which they are not able to uh, utilize their surroundings very well. Am I right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what happens in reality? What are the real issues here, which we have already discussed here? When if we talk about equality and equity, actually both are trying to provide fairness to the person. Is that right or not? Even if I'm buying a even if I'm buying a bicycle, I'm trying to be fair, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I not trying to be fair here? I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be giving all of them a bicycle. It is costing me money. It is costing my resources, and I'm from my side. I'm giving everybody the equality. So resources are there. It has been everybody has whether they are useful or not. Oh, can you hear me? Please excuse me for leaving the session. There was some technical glitch here. Sorry. So, so we move on here. So, in reality, both of them are trying to provide fairness. Am I audible to all of you, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So, okay. Sorry for leaving the session. So, in reality, both are trying to provide fairness, justice, and equity specifically targets in achieving the fairness by addressing whatever your individual needs are, whereas equality just it is just aiming to provide you sameness, that all are given the same opportunity. So equality may tackle the surface level issues, whereas by word of mouth you can say, no, I am being fair to all. It is like the band-aid which the teacher is putting on their fingers, but it is not addressing the underlying problem. It is not being given to the child where they actually require it. All right. So that is what is in reality the difference which is caused due to equity and equality. I would like you to watch this video. It is a wonderful explanation of equity and equality.
Before we can talk about equity versus equality, I want to first define diversity. At Inclusive Communities, we like to say diversity in its simplest definition means differences. We all have differences, from our glasses to our weight to how much money we have. That is diversity. And no matter how much people say it's hard to find diversity, that's not true. Diversity exists. It's about taking the time to acknowledge its existence and work to ensure action is taken to embrace these differences, not alienate them. Equality is often equated to fairness and sameness, and is based in the misconception that we all have the same needs and the same solution will work for everyone. Equity is based in access and opportunity, with the understanding that we each start with different advantages and disadvantages, and thus have different needs to attain access and opportunity. To understand equity, we have to compare it to equality. Now, I love this equity versus equality graphic, as it's the best explanation of the difference between the two. On the equality side, you see that we've got three individuals, our tall guy, our short girl, and our friend in the wheelchair. And you see that they're all trying to watch this baseball game, but there's this fence. With equality, they've each been given a box to use to be able to see the game. But obviously that's not working, because our tall friend is now super tall and sees very clearly over the fence, while our short girl can just barely see, and she's still kind of on her tiptoes and struggling to see the game, while the person in the wheelchair can't see it all, and they can't even get on the box. On the equity side of this picture, you can see that now we've given each individual exactly what they need to be able to see the game. The person in the wheelchair has a ramp so they can clearly get to the top and see the full game. The shorter girl has 2 boxes, which is what she needed to comfortably be able to see. And the tall person has no boxes at all because they didn't need the extra assistance in the first place. Equity is a process, which means it is continuous. We can't gain equity by changing just one thing. For example, the equity side of this photo shows our friend in the wheelchair has gained equity at this fence, but the work is not done. True progressive equity is about how can we ensure that he has equitable opportunities at all of the hypothetical and real fences in his life. Equity requires power, resources, and social responsibility to work hand in hand to change the structures and provide opportunities to those who were institutionally left out, marginalized, or oppressed. Equity is hard, but it's essential for us to make change in the lives of those who have been historically depicted as less than. From individuals with disabilities like physical, developmental, and mental,
So I think it was clear to all of you what the video tried to say. It was also an explanation of the picture which we have already done. And like she said, that equity is hard, and it is not only one person's responsibility, it is a responsibility of the whole society. And we as educators are also very important in this line of responsibility. Equity is also very important in education. And as you see that what kind of approach do we need to have equity in our society? We have to actually first start addressing our internal bias. Right before you saw this, right before you came into my session, I would really like to ask all of you, very, very truthfully, did you actually look at equity the way we have talked about it till now? Anyone?
No, ma'am. No.
No,
Did you ever
ma'am. You
did you
have to
ever think,
understand it better.
right? Do you ever think that if your parents do not give you part of your heritage in equal parts, that would you understand, you know, from their point of view, would you understand what equity really means? They might not be understanding what this word, they might not be knowing this word, but if they are exercising equity, would you as an educated person understand what equity is, that they are exercising it? But I just hope that when you exit this
Yes,
session,
ma'am.
when
After this,
yes, Sushma, please carry on. Sorry for interrupting you. Sushma ma'am, you can carry on speaking. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no problem, ma'am. I just want to say, yes, ma'am. And just I want to say that after understanding the concept of equity, I think we all will understand that it should be given according to the child's sense. Who wants what, that should be given to that child.
Right. True. Thank you, ma'am. I think the first best thing which we can do is firstly, you know, recognize our internal biases, that going out and understanding and looking at that pavement, looking at that bicycle which is wrong, firstly we have to look inside us. Like she said, that equity is hard. It is really hard. It is really hard to accept that I am not recognizing the cultural differences, the social differences, the gender differences which exist around me. I'm not understanding, I'm not accepting the kind of children we have, dyslexic children, we have disabled children, who we are not giving, equal, we are not giving them equitable approach in our society, in our classrooms, in our day-to-day functioning and, interaction. There are people in our houses who we think if they are, physically unable to do something, we are not giving them the advantage of, helping them a little more. Sometimes we just consider that everything is right the way we are doing. So we need to remove this internal barriers first, and then the external barriers will be removed. and we need to support our students in overcoming obstacles in school, and not only our students, we need to, give as women, support other women, and and men have to support other men, and we as a society have to support each other. Because when we understand these biases, when we understand these differences in our capabilities, only then when will we have inclusive society, and then only then can we build support and learning environment. No matter how much your NEP or NCF, your whatever institution is telling you to have a, approach where you are inclusivity, where you have to take in inclusivity, if you don't understand these barriers, if you don't, let down your internal barriers, the external barriers will never be addressed around us. And we will never be able to reach equity. And as we move, we all of us, we do understand that through our CBSE, NEP, NCF, we are trying to, overcome these equity in education. Like we already know that children who are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds, students, where they will end up having disadvantages schools, teachers, and they will never be a part of the mainstream like the other advantage, like the other child who's coming from a rich family. Do you all agree? There might be a lot of people like, the other side of my laptop who are sitting, all of you who are there might be doing a lot of charity work where you actually understand the kind of equity which we require to exercise. There are so many people who are disadvantaged, who are not receiving an equal approach. And when our education system tells you that we need to be inclusive, that we need to understand that children, they need a different kind of hand holding to reach the same thing. We have to be very yes, ma'am. Does anybody want to say something here? Punita, ma'am, you're suddenly unmuted. Do you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please, ma'am. Go ahead.
Ma'am, without understanding this equality and equity, if we see our parents doing injustice or favoritism to the children,
yes, ma'am,
then we would have only pacified ourselves that it is their thing and their will to whomsoever they want to give.
Excellent.
But understanding the equity and equality, now it is very justifiable.
Yes. And sometimes now when you understand this thing and you go back and you look at the decisions and you will feel, no, this is right. And probably, Punita ma'am, you would do the same thing now when you are doing this, because when you have to take the same decisions, you might as well take the same decision as well. You also might follow equity in your thinking, in your doing, because you have seen your parents doing it. It has been modeled to you. Maybe your friends, your teachers have done it to you. And you will unknowingly be addressing people and addressing the differences in this way. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. And I hope all of you would also look at it in a different light now. That we actually don't always require equality. There are times when we require equity, and it extends to our society, it extends to our economics, it extends to our classrooms, and it extends to our, surroundings all the time. So let's move on. So here is a wonderful picture, and like this is a genius thing which all teachers need to know. And I know all of you must have seen this picture at some time or the other. And where there is this teacher, and he says that where for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. So please climb that tree. So what you see in front of you is the kind of children you have in your classrooms. What do you think will happen in such a classroom? What do you think will be the outcome of such a classroom? Sundari ma'am, you're trying to say something, are you? Anita ma'am?
Monkey will win the race.
So, yes, ma'am, your answer is absolutely correct. Anita ma'am, you want to add something here?
Yeah, in this type of classroom, we could have already only a one child who will be always the top at the top, and others they will be lacking. Even if they are trying to do something, they are trying to cope up. But as a teacher, we are never letting them to come out of their comfort zone or try something different, because we are giving the exam to climb the tree. They cannot. Everyone cannot. So for that, as a teacher, it is our role to assess each child in according to their capability. And first of all, for that, we have to teach them according to their rhythm, in which way they are taking it.
Very true, ma'am. Thank you so much. Punita, ma'am, could you read this text in black, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Please. Thank you.
Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. With this quote in mind, how can we differentiate our instruction plus expectations?
So do you think we need to relook at the way we teach and the way we are expecting to, give instruction in our classrooms?
Yes, ma'am, because diverse children have their own unique needs and we have to cater to them.
Absolutely, Punita, ma'am. And this is
Can
how.
I add, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, please.
Okay. So it is popular says the going is that one suit doesn't fit all.
Absolutely.
So according to the animals which with where they grow, where they live, their habitat, according to that we have to give the results. Now
So,
coming back to the school situation, in a classroom there will be different types of learners. We know the work learners.
yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so based on that work we can teach. But the question for a teacher practical is the same concept. How can you take up given the time situation, time limit, and completing the syllabus? It becomes little difficult. So I see that bottleneck there for a good teacher. But of course, again, coming back on the same lines, even assessing the children or giving marks and all, for the most part, even according to Bloom's taxonomy, also we cater more to the mediocre children, but not to the lower order or the higher order thinking skill children. So that is the bottom knowledge understanding or the extreme apex part, which is the creativity. So neither we care there nor here. So it is here that we always as teachers tend to go about. I don't know. That's what I have felt as a teacher.
Ma'am, actually, yes, your observation is also good. We have a little more here to do, and we can discuss it a little more and further on whatever you have talked about here. And I think we need to. I know we have expectations and we have challenges, all of us. I think in our classrooms, where we have to meet our, expectations and our goals, which have to be met. And there are times when it is difficult to do it. But let's see what and how equity and equality is addressing. And that is also one thing I would like to add here on what ma'am has said, that to address this equity from the very beginning, our education system is, making your following this ECCE early education for all children has been made, compulsory. We are investing more on our children from 0 to 4. And it is not an investment which is only cost wise. It is also an investment which will address all the needs which ma'am was just talking about in the later stages. There is no fun in addressing these needs at the later stages if we our education system is trying to address them at the very root. That is why we are putting so much stress on our early education these days. So let's move forward and see how we can understand. So how are you going to adopt this equity mindset? So there are 4 principles. Always, pick up equity over equality. So, it is address the unique barriers and the needs of the children, which you have already seen. Capacity over deficit thinking, like not think about what the child is not capable of doing. And this is what the previous picture is telling you about, rather than thinking what these children or what these animals cannot do. When we think of them as students, we focus on what are their capabilities and what exceptional things which they can do in terms of their own bodies and their own being. Okay. and deep relationships. I think every very important is that we are losing on these days is relationships. So we need to build authentic relationships and connections with our children, with our teams, wherever we are, whether we are trainers, whether we are teachers, whether we are leaders. We need to build up authentic connections, because when we build connections, we have this empathy among each other, and that is how we are able to understand the need of the person right next to us. And then we have to acknowledge all of them. I think multiple talent, all of them have multiple talents, and all the three principles amalgamate in multiple talents, because when we acknowledge diversity, when we acknowledge that the people are diverse in their intelligence and ability, we are able to give them a more acceptance in the society. And that, I think, is a very, very important part of how we function and how we live in a more sustainable environment, and how we are become one with each other and our thoughts. So there's another case study here. I would like you to all someone to come up and talk about it. uh, a school aims to promote inclusivity for all students by providing the same resources, same accommodations for everyone, and this includes same textbooks, materials, teaching methods, accessibility tools, and all students receive the same instruction, support, and this fully address the unique needs of the students, especially those with disabilities and those with diverse backgrounds, because we know that our children will come from they might be rich, they might be poor, they might be disabled, they might be coming from broken homes, they might be coming from a place where they're living is not safe, where every day is a struggle for them, where even studying is difficult for them because they're not living with their own parents. Do you think it is easy for those people to have, we are exercising equality here by giving them the same resources? That will they be able to, will they feel included? Will they feel, do you think this is a very good way of showing inclusivity?
No, ma'am.
Anita ma'am, what do you think?
No, ma'am.
How do
No,
you think
ma'am.
your school or you are being different in this?
Because if the child is not able to, if he's not talking, the deaf, and the same thing doesn't go with the same child. If it is visual or it is a rhyme book, they cannot sing it. So there is no fun giving the same material to the child. And if some child is blind, they cannot read it. They need
Absolutely.
that special cases are there in the classroom. So for everyone, we cannot give the same material and tell them to, you have to give us output. No, it is not going to work. For each and every child, their requirement is different. Not in each and every child, a group of children, we can say a group of children, they have different requirements. So for them, we have to give them the required materials to help them
So,
out.
Anita ma'am, do you agree with all the topics right in front of you right now that your children will require differentiated instruction? We have to give a culturally responsive teaching, right? Wherever you are, maybe you might be in the north region, you might be in the southern region, and here you might be having people who are coming across borders. You are having in this session across coming from across borders, so you have to be culturally responsive when you're teaching. You cannot be biased in your teaching. Is that right? That is not a way of
Yeah,
showing equity. So,
right.
so whatever you are saying, is it amalgamated in these points? You have to give a personalized reading if you're learning plans for children who are disabled or who are
Yes, ma'am.
having very good.
Yes.
And this universal design of learning, designing lessons to be accessible and engaging for all students. Do you think all of you are doing it? Can you give me a thumbs up if you think you are differentiating your lesson plans, you are differentiating your instructions? I would just like
Well,
a thumbs up from all of you if you are. So you can go to more. Very good, Gurveer ma'am. I'm able to see your thumbs up, Anita ma'am. Thank you for putting in that effort to becoming very good. Thank you so much. So great for all those who have not been able to put in a thumbs up here or not been able to show their solidarity. I really know that all of you are doing your best as educators, as leaders, as trainers, and you're putting in your best into this. And it would become such a beautiful society and a place to live in when people can understand, because you are all ambassadors of these things. And please carry equity to your classrooms, to your homes, to your society. So even if one person is able to address equity in their surroundings, we can make a great difference here. So here is another case study. So if an institution is providing inclusivity for all employees, it is implementing the same workplace accommodations for everyone, giving desks, chairs, flexible options. Employee receives the same training format, um, in the same format related to diversity and inclusion. What do you think? Is it a good thing, or is it not able to address the needs? Yes, Anita ma'am, are you trying to say something? Your mic is off.
It is the
On.
same case, ma'am, with the children, with the elders. It is on the same track, ma'am.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely. So
on the same track.
excellent. So this here is a case which includes the employees, actually employees and all. So where we are not addressing the children. It can be your management, it can be your teachers, it can be anyone from the administration side also, where you are getting all accommodations. But what if you are a disabled person and your office has been given to you on the second floor? Will you be able to reach it on time? Will you be able to do justice to your job? And if there is no lift, you have to go by the stairs. Do you think it is possible for you? Would you think it is an equitable distribution of things?
No, ma'am.
It is not. So
No, ma'am.
sometimes even the management thinks that it is giving equitable, distribution to people, but it doesn't happen, because what happens there is that there might be people who will not feel inclusive, whose needs are not being addressed. So being equal is not being equitable. So we all need to, remember this. And so this is a little quiz here. Equity and equality. You can just say one word. Equality always means fairness. Is this a fact or a myth? One word. You can type
It's
it
a
in the.
myth, ma'am.
It's a myth.
It's
It's
a
myth, ma'am.
myth. It's a myth. So when we say we are all equal, it is not right. It is a myth. Thank you, Juhi ma'am. Thank you for your answer. Okay, equity and equality have the same end goals. Do you think they have the same end goals? Well, that's a difficult question. So let's move forward and come to the solution to this. That was
No,
a late. Yes, Gurveen ma'am. What do you think?
ma'am, and equity and equality have different goals.
Hmm.
As equity gives opportunity to all the persons according to the needs, but equality does not prefer their needs.
Yes, excellent. I love the way that you have actually grasped the subject so well, and I'm so happy about it. Let's move forward to the next slide and see. So the common mistakes which equity and equality makes, assuming equality automatically ensures fairness. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि आप अगर सबको equality दे रहे हो तो fairness भी दे रहे हो. Like ma'am just said. And very nicely explained, ma'am. Thank you so much. So the misconception is that equality always does not mean fairness. It does not mean that आप सबको band-aid लगा रहे हो, so it is at the right place. But the reality is that equality does not always result in fairness, because it does not take into account different needs of the starting points. You might be all standing with the same bicycle at the starting point, but you might not be capable of riding that bicycle, because you might be of different capabilities. So the starting points are not really addressed by the equality. So, and what is the misconception here? Equity and equality have the same end goals. No. So what actually equity is looking at is fairness. That equity targets achieving fairness. It addresses your individual needs. If you need a bicycle which is shorter, it will give you a shorter bicycle. If you need an electronic wheelchair, it is going to give you an electronic wheelchair. And sometimes, and all these resources which are given to you, or the opportunities which are given to all, might not result in fair outcomes. But equity is important, and probably more important than equality. Because when the sense of fairness comes in, the person will always feel equal to the other person. So we always, like till now, even till I researched this topic, and I hope even today when you leave my session, all of you will not, use the word equity and equality interchangeably. So is it a fact or a myth?
Let's see. The school is promoting equity by providing equal funding to all clubs. Is it a fact or a myth?
It's a myth, ma'am.
Myth? Fact or a myth? Equity means giving everyone extra resources.
Everyone doesn't need extra resources. It's the people who need, we should give to them.
Very nice. So this is what we should give them resources according to their individual needs. Do you think our schools are wasting a lot of resources by being equal in giving them?
Yeah, most of the times, ma'am.
Right? They will say give one duster to every class. They might not need also. Give one
Yes.
chalk box to every box, and the children are playing
Right.
with the chalk boxes because they
Yes.
know we have a lot many in the lying in the cupboard or somewhere in the drawer. So we are wasting a lot of resources by being equal also. So sometimes equity is also very important to be exercised, and probably most of the times equity should be exercised. Okay, so before we move on from here, this is my last slide, and you have to remember, as a society, how we treat our most vulnerable is a reflection of who we are as a society. With this, I would like to, come to an end to my session. I hope the whole session was clear to you. And I would like somebody to please give a feedback and to also add a little more to what they've learned today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was so energetic and very valuable session. We knew these words, but the way as you taught, as the examples, we have seen it. We every day we come across the things, many different things, but putting that in the life is a totally different thing. Doing that practically, but after your session, I think, yeah, many of us, we are going to do it. We are going to address it. For myself, I am a pre-primary teacher, ma'am, but yeah, I have seen they say a pre-primary teacher, what they do there. But the fact is, the main work is done there. If, as a teacher, you're willing to give that confidence to the child that you can do anything, we are there to help you. They can do. They overcome their fears, everything. And equity there, it is a need. Equity at the very base level when they are just coming out of their homes, they don't know about the outside world. At that time, when we give them what they need, actually need, that helps them a lot. And after your session, I feel very happy that whatever I have done till now, I was on the right track. And thank you so much, ma'am, for this session. And the last one, how we treat our most vulnerable is reflection of who we are as a society. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Anybody else would like to give any kind of conclusion to this? So I just hope that all of you today, when you leave from here, you will all make a difference and encourage parents, encourage your children, encourage your students, encourage your society around you to become equitable and to give chances to those people who are more deserving and have less chances to do, much in life. And with this, you will evolve. With this, your parents will evolve. And with this, our whole society is going to evolve into a better society. And we are all going to achieve whatever we have aimed for. And as a conclusion slide, I would like to say this, that equality is giving everyone a shoe, and equity is giving everyone a shoe that fits. I think Nam has already talked about this, but this is the whole conclusion of today. And before we move forward, thank you so much for your feedback, Prerna ma'am, Biji ma'am, Sheherban ma'am, Juhi ma'am. I have added Mr. Matthew's number here, and if you would like to grab a certificate, you can give your money to this thing, and you can connect to this number, Mr. Matthew. And I would like to say the number out aloud. It is 9818946850. And thank you so much for attending us. Vanita ma'am, thank you so much. Nandita
Ma'am,
ma'am,
I
Sindhu
have
ma'am.
a small question
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Can I
Please.
speak? Sorry to interrupt in between.
No, ma'am.
You
No.
were telling about equity, equality, that is fine. So can we or should we gauge this more on the physical disabilities, or you're catering to the cognitive disabilities,
Ma'am, I
there
think
have little
when,
blur.
yeah, ma'am, actually, equity has to be exercised in, like I talked in the beginning, not only the case of physical, also social, emotional, and gender-wise also. Any kind of places in the society where inequalities crop up, we have to be equitable with that. And sometimes you will see that you have to see economically when people are not very well off. You understand, like I talked about disadvantaged children. They will go to disadvantaged school. They will not have good schooling. They will not have good careers. In the end, they will not be able to earn much, right? So that is when they will again be economically weak. And then we talk about disabled people, the life will be harder for them. We need to give them equitable resources. So that is what I was trying. And in case of people who have emotional problems, children who are dyslexic or otherwise have some kind of disability, you have to cater to them according to their disability. The same thing when we were talking about giving, differentiating needs in case of classrooms. So that is where you have to be. The whole society is full of different. That is a very very vast topic when we talk about. I have tried to pick up a very small part of equality and equity. If you talk about it, is a very very vast topic, and going into it would require another 2 3 sessions, because it crops up to many 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 topics. And here we are just trying to connect it to our social conditions, to our education, to people who are of different we can, it also crops up to caste and color, which we would not like to address much here. But that is why when I tell you that in your society, whenever you see these things, you have to be very very careful on how you deal with these things and what kind of support you are providing to these people. Is that clear, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. So, in general, or if we generalize and put it across, like whether it is psychomotor or cognitive or affective, we
Yes, ma'am.
have
That is,
to.
if you are, if you're talking about, early childhood, if you're talking about children at the very early age also, there are some children who would require, more help from you, more attention from you, and you have to give them different strategies, different ways of learning, so that they reach your lesson objective, or whatever, wherever you want the child to reach in terms of his intellectual, gaining, right? So you have to work in both ways, whether you are talking it in terms of a physical disability, in terms of caste, color, creed. People have to be, there is discrimination in classrooms, there is discrimination in society, there is discrimination around you. If you see it, people say, oh, we are giving them equal things. Why are they not able to achieve? It is because what you are giving them is not according to their needs. It is not fairly given to them. And that also happens to a lot of government policies which are given as equal opportunity, but they are not helping people because they are not addressing their needs, to the things where they are living and to how they are, they are growing up. So we have to be very careful of these things. And equity and equality here I have taken up as a very general topic. You can connect it to any stream or any part of your life today, or it can be education, it can be economic, like I told you. So it can be cognitive, it can be your social skills. There might be children who are lacking in social skills, where you have to give them opportunity to be friends with others, where you have to make them sit collaboratively, work as a team, and suddenly they realize that they are also capable of making friends. Is that right, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
So
the last
where
part of the sentence, what you told, like providing so many free opportunities from the
yeah.
government and
So
all of
when
that wonderful said sentence. They're
so
experiencing it.
absolutely, ma'am. So when you say इसका क्या फायदा, इससे तो हमें कुछ फायदा नहीं मिल रहा है, but आपके लिए नहीं है, वो equitably किसी को दिया गया है, where that person is able to,
Even he too
get.
is not getting the intended benefits also. Yeah, rightly said.
Yeah. So वो equality है
100% true.
आपके लिए, equity नहीं है. So that is why you're not getting the intended benefits, right? So you have that bicycle which you can't ride.
Yeah.
That is what is happening with them. So
Thank
thank you
you,
so
ma'am. It was
much.
really very nice. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Sridevi ma'am. Thank you for your
Thank you.
participation. Thank you, Juhi
Thank you.
ma'am. It was wonderful having you all in my session. Thank you so much. See you in another session. Bye bye, everyone. Over to you, sir, please. I would like to repeat Matthew sir's number where you can connect him to grab a certificate, which is 981 8946 850.
Ma'am, how can we get the certificate on this number? We can leave you a message.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you can just connect to this number and you can connect us, you can get the certificate, please.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Any paying rupees?
Yes, sir. Ravi sir, can you please guide them a little bit, please?
Yeah, kindly speak to Matthew, sir, because this is an AIEF session. Sir will guide you as in how are you supposed to grab a certificate. Yeah.
Should I add the number again?
I believe it has been a wonderful session, Pushplatha ma'am.
Thank you,
And
sir. Thank you so much.
yeah, so I believe we can conclude the session.
Okay, sir.
Congratulating Pushplatha ma'am and all the participants for the wonderful participation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being a great audience.